All right. Welcome back to Two Dudes, One Garage Summer Edition.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Leo.
This is Alex.
So we're just going to touch base with the crypto top 10 standings right now. Currently, let's go back to the top and see the total market cap in the crypto world is $917 billion. So it actually dropped drastically, dude. It was like in the 2 trillion, and the 1.2 trillion, and now it's at billion. Yeah. It's so weird saying billion, right?
It's pretty low.
So Bitcoin's currently sitting in the number one spot at 20,000 per coin. It's currently up 2% today at total market cap of $389 billion. Ethereum, $1,174, 4.6% up at $142 billion. Those stable coins, skip those.
For sure.
So now going into the altcoins, in the seventh spot, we have XRP, 32 cents, 2.3% up at 15 billion. Cardano at 46 cents, 2.4% up today at 15 also billion. Solana, $37, 5% up at 12 billion. And on the top 10 cutoff line, we have Doge.
Still hanging on.
Doge is hanging on by dear life.
I don't know how.
I don't know either, man. It's just hanging on. It's
the meme dream.
It's a joke coin that started all the other jokes, and just keeps making more jokes.
They're like, oh, we could scam people. Let's go for it.
The never-ending joke coin. Yeah. So Doge is at 6 cents, at 2.8%, 9 billion. As far as everything down below, we'll just not talk about that. But everything looks very, very, I don't know, how should I say, early 2021, late 2020 vibe-ish in a way, looking at the prices and stuff. I don't know. That's what it feels like to me anyways.
Yeah, I think the prices looked like halfway decent when they're like 50% off or whatever, and now that we're like 80+%, it's like we don't even know what's going on anymore, but mostly the Fed rate hikes and everybody starting to realize that the economy is in a worse position than we all probably thought it was. Just for the whole globe, everybody's like, all those very rich people taking their money out and scares more people, and I'm going to get into some other things, and we'll talk about sort of why some of the things have been dipping so hard. But also, it's just, general finance. But you want to talk about the first one. All right. So the first big reason is the Fed rate hike, interest rate by 0.75 percentage point, the biggest since 1994. And we all saw this coming since the last one or two that have been rolling out, and a lot of money coming out, a lot of markets, a lot of fear, concern, but also just like it's not a good deal for people to have a lot of money, right? They would rather put things into bonds or just hold their money to the side, or because everything gets more risky. And still a lot of crypto projects and finance and everything, infrastructure being built, but it's not, the valuations aren't as high. What do you think about this? Pretty serious rate hike.
Interest rate 0.75% points, 0.75% point. The biggest increase is 1994. I don't really remember 1994, so but I'll believe them.
The interest rates, they're trying to make money, the dollar worth a lot more. So just go, oh, like that's a lot, and people are aware that this is going to keep happening throughout the year. So just trying to fight the inflation is just so bad, right? So, yeah, all the finance stocks are down super low. So I think, but we're kind of talking about this. It's going to be a while, right? I think it's going to be, they said it's usually like a year and a half, 2 years before stuff like this gets like sorted out. But trust me, you don't want like inflation to run away, right? Like, you don't want your dollar to be worth 10 cents, right? So it's important to fix, but it sucks for investing short.
It's going to last for a while. It's not going to be one of those situations where it's going to be a 3 to 6 month ordeal, and they're going to just like start giving free money away again because they already gave enough money away. So
hopefully they realize their mistake.
Yeah, it's time to pay the credit card bill. So they're going to start increasing rates, taking people's money. Oil goes up, everything else goes up. Pretty much that's the way it is. I always look at gasoline is like the day-to-day inflation monitor. You know what I mean? Like you get to like look at gas. Oh, it's up. $6. It's down to $5.86. It's up.
Right.
It's just the constant inflation.
It raises the price of everything else.
Yeah, it just raises. Well, obviously, because everything needs to travel, either truck, train, whatever, plane, whatever case, boat, whatever. It needs to get somewhere, and they need to drive it there or whatever.
Yeah.
Any kind of vessel.
Right.
And that if that goes up, then everything else goes up behind it. So that's how I feel about inflation is led by fuel.
Yeah. I think too it's sort of like a triple tap situation. I mean, like money's worth less, and then also like we had pipelines turned off by our recent president, and I think we were buying stuff from Russia. So it's like, oh, everything's gonna be more expensive, and let's just like add a couple more dollars on it because we can't get it from our normal sources, right? I haven't looked super into that, but that's kind of what I'm aware of. So it's like just like, yeah, don't turn off our pipeline supply. It's not a good idea, right? But yeah, everything else is going to get more expensive because of that. So, so don't be too surprised. I think crypto is probably doing fine on its own in the way it's functioning and building, but all the prices are going to look bad just like stocks do. Honestly, it's probably a really good time to buy some stocks if you're interested. But yeah. Anything else on that? Good? So, and because of this, I think a lot of like big crypto platforms, basically like Celsius and Voyager and a lot of them that were trying to loan a lot of money out and get people high yield. And they locked up a bunch of ETH like on DeFi that can't come out, right? They dumped a bunch of money into Luna, which collapsed. And so I think they're still trying to figure out like what we can and can't do. And like obviously from what they're doing, I mean it's tough to like find like super high yields for people, right? Unless it's a new platform or whatever. Like it's not really feasible. You can't be paying people this kind of rates. You got to look at like, okay, why and how. And I think they got a little ahead of themselves. And Three Arrows Capital actually was like a huge like venture capital, like dumping out capital basically, right? And they ended up losing a bunch of their money, so then they can't like pay back all these people that and all these platforms, right? So it says this week has revealed to the average investor how interconnected cryptocurrency firms are. Two firms have frozen withdrawals, and a cryptocurrency hedge fund is in trouble. Celsius, Babel Finance, and Three Arrows Capital are floundering. It's not clear how extensive the damage may be. This week started with Sunday night announcement with the Celsius Network, a giant crypto lending company, that it would pause withdrawals and transfers. And this was somewhat recently. It was, like the middle of June. And they kind of saw it, some people kind of saw it coming. But after the value of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies already weeks in a slide, some have termed a crypto winter, plunged even further, and 5 days later the news hasn't improved much. So the whole economy suffers, then crypto goes down a lot with stocks and all finance, and then there's just no more money coming into crypto, or people are scared, so they're pulling money out, and then all this money that they have borrowed also, not just like locked in DeFi, they like can't lend out or pay people for. So it's a bad in any other time they might be able to get away with this, especially like when there was all hype last year. It would have been fine, but they're starting to see like, oh, we can't just do this when it dips 80%, right? All three firms managed other people's money. Celsius wooed retail investors. Babel, with NBC says 500 clients, raised $80 million in a funding round a month ago. Three Arrows Capital, which invested in crypto startups, managed $10 billion assets in March. I knew it was a couple billion. I didn't realize it was $10 billion. That's a lot. But when value like gets shed in general, because Bitcoin is 75% down with all other cryptos, whatever, like, yeah, you're not going to have 10 billion anymore, right? But yeah, I kind of touched on Celsius. So they basically have a lot of stuff frozen on DeFi and stuff, or a lot of people lost their money in Luna. Not just people, but whole exchanges. I think one of them lost like $300 million in the Luna failure.
Yeah, that worst case scenario. People always say worst case scenario. This is worst case scenario, and what do you do, man? Like, that only happened if you Bitcoin goes to nothing, or this coin disappears, and it's all the what ifs, and everyone thinks it's never going to happen. When it does happen, people are scrambling trying to figure things out. There's a lot of people without money right now, lost all their life savings through all this. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. It's tough, dude. Eventually it'll come back up though. So
for sure.
So as long as they hang tight and it's obviously locked, so they'll be able to
Yeah, or somebody buys them out or something. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna save you because we're gonna buy it at a discount or something. Exactly. Right. Yeah. So Celsius is like, we're not sure what's gonna happen. I think Three Arrows is like just done, and like, so you're seeing these huge people with $10 billion, 500 million, like, use leverage and try to get high yield and do risky stuff, which I guess we all have to learn our lesson if we have $1,000 or 10 billion, right? Like, oh, it's so crazy to me. But yeah, and then on top of that, Voyager was also a platform that also filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So, it's sort of just that story that when the whole market dips and people are trying to find creative ways to make money for years and nobody else is piling money on, I guess this is what happens if you're not really careful. So, yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. Some of these will be gone. Some of them might come back. Celsius might stick around. I know some of them definitely have like gotten bought up and everything. I think FTX was looking to buy some of them, possibly. It's like all on the table. Binance was like trying to get some money for some of them. So we'll see. But yeah. It says here, just Voyager really quick, the company's exposure to the troubled crypto fund Three Arrows Capital consists of 15,000 Bitcoin and 300 million USDC stablecoins. And also entered into a multi-million credit line agreement with Ultimate Ventures, so a parent company FTX. So, things are moving around, or they're just going to disappear because they don't have any money left. So pretty crazy. I don't know. Hopefully a lot of the retail people are okay. It doesn't drive them away.
Pretty crazy, man. Losing all your money in a platform. Yeah, the platform loses money, goes bankrupt. It's crazy. I can't even imagine that, dude. That's pretty crazy. I don't even know what to say. But it happens. It's part of the business. It's part of the business. People lose. Some platforms are here, some of them don't. Depends. It depends what they were diversified in, right? Like if they were if they were really like on leverage, you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially leverage.
Leverage. Yeah. Like they were like, oh, we promise you this much money and this and that, but they don't really have it on hand.
Yeah. Or they have a reserve of cash that they can pay people off for their crypto or something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then everyone cashes out at once, and then they're like, oh shit.
Right.
Like,
if they have a different reserve for emergencies, right?
Yeah.
Then that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, because they'll never have like all the money on hand. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. They're counting on a certain percentage not to cash out, but when everyone runs to the bank, it's I mean, it happens in the stock world. It happens in the bank world. I mean, why wouldn't it happen in the cryptocurrency world?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people get scared when it's down 70% or whatever, right? It's like, I need my money, which maybe you do, maybe you don't. You get scared, you want it back anyways. And you're like, oh, why didn't I just leave it in there? Dang it. But actually, I think Binance just like, CZ tweeted. He was like, oh, yeah, kind of taking like vague shots at crypto.com. Yeah. He was like, oh, good thing we didn't like buy arenas and do all this big stuff this year because now we can hire people. So, it sounds like they're doing okay, which is good. Some of these exchanges need to stick around, but yeah, I think in hindsight, especially crypto.com and a couple other like just blew all their money on marketing thinking like, oh, it was going to go up forever, right? And I don't know. Sounds like they've been struggling too. But it's not that surprising if you're struggling when your whole market is, having a hard time. But yeah. So.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But the last couple podcasts, we talked about the Luna crash and stuff. And I mean, there's still a lot of good news, a lot of crazy things happening. These have been the big headline stuff. So I just wanted to run through them. If people don't really know what's going on, I'll fill you in. So we got institutional investors accumulating a staggering 300 million as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana start going down. So basically, like people saw that Luna crash as like, institutional. People don't have to sell. They're not going to sell. They don't care. It's just time to snap up. And even though things have gone down a little bit, I don't think they care. It's like a good price to get in at, But it just shows you that there's still people sitting there waiting, looking for a good price. You know, it's not everybody's going defunct and bankrupt, and there's people just sitting on the sidelines, right, waiting to buy their stuff, because that's a really good sign to me. You know, crypto's like not going away, even though there's like blood in the streets, right? Got people with millions of dollars and see the value, see the potential and the possibility and the really good stuff.
Bought in high and just got destroyed, and they're going to be resentful and not want to come back, right? They're just going to be set off by that. But then there's people that are like, I don't know, like, I feel like kind of like us, where we're like, you know, when we're at all-time highs, we're like, damn, we should have bought more when Ethereum was at 1,200. Like, damn, we wish, like I don't think it'll ever go back down to $1,200, you know, $1,000.
Right.
Wish we had that opportunity again. Well,
now it's here.
Wish come true, man. Right. It's here. Thankful to the, to our economy and, the world's current situation, pandemic and everything, like
inflation,
everything. Inflation, pandemic, everything combined together.
Couldn't have made a better time.
Gave us this beautiful discount, and it's tragic that people lost their life savings or lost, some of their investments. But like the saying goes, you don't lose unless you sell, right? So as long as you don't sell and you can afford to hold off for 2 years, I honestly think it's going to be more in a 3 side, easy 3 side. Because if you look at charts and like, I'm not really good at studying like the charts and all that, like daily charts, but like if you look at history, 2017 to 2020, 3 years, like 3 years. Yeah. So
that's fair.
So if things speed up faster, as in like more adoption in governments and businesses, maybe it'd be less than 3, maybe 2, maybe 1.5. But if it remains the same, as far as like people are still, not knowing the benefits of crypto and all that stuff, and they're still against it, then it'll be about 3 years for it to come.
I think it's definitely possible. I think it comes down, the biggest thing is inflation. Once people like with money and people with not that much money all feel confident that their money is going to be worth, the whole market isn't going to dry up, right? Because it incentivizes basically the Fed rate hike, like incentivizes you to like keep your money on the sideline, keep it in a bond or something, and give it guaranteed whatever, or just wait for a better market. Like once that gets sorted out, I see a lot of this going back, and I've kind of maybe touched on this a couple times during our show, but a big thing to me is like, don't get confused with price with infrastructure and value of a system. If you see what some interesting crypto or promises, if they have 10 cool things you like that they can do, well, some of them will stick around for a really long time. You got to figure out like, what do you think has long-term value? And then it's at a discount now. You don't even have to buy it now. You could probably buy it in the next 1 to 3 years. Like, you're going to get a good price. So yeah, I do think this has kind of caused like a really good time for people to pick stuff up. And I know people are struggling too, but that's the other thing, right? But you can make a 6 to 12, 18 month plan where like, I want to buy this amount, or I think this is good, right? It's going to help me out in 5 years, right? So I don't know. That's the way I like to think. I don't think any of us saw this coming, especially with the inflation thing. It just like pulled all the markets down so much that there's nothing you can do about that. You can't predict it. You can't see it coming. Like crypto wasn't having a hard time on its own. It's just, it got sledgehammered by the rest of the global financial world. But yeah. And then I don't know. You want to try this beer really quick? This is from Treehouse. It's called King Jjjuliusss. It's a double IPA. I really like their stuff. It's a little more mellow. I've brought some like monkish East Coast hazies on. They're like a little more explosive. This is hard to get though, and it's like pretty nice. It's one of the higher rated beers out there, honestly. So I thought like, I'll bring it by, see what we think, right? So. Yeah, but Treehouse makes some notorious for making some good stuff, and see what you think. King Jjjuliusss.
There you go. Cheers, then. It's pretty good.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's nice.
Tastes like a 50-50 bar kind of.
50-50 bar?
Yeah, like orange. Tastes like a 50-50 bar, kind of like orange and cream, mixed together. You get the orange instantly with the citrus, and then the smooth cream afterwards.
Yeah, it's pretty mellow. Like there's a lot of fruit flavors, and it's very mellow. I think it's hopped probably like 3 or 4 times the kettle and boil hopped and whatever. So it will be softer. There's a lot more flavor than some other beers. I mean, it's a really good one. So yeah, thought we'd bring it by.
Nice.
But
bringing it by.
Yeah, for sure. And we were kind of talking about Terra really did, like, I think, pull a lot more money out of the market on top of all the other factors we've discussed.
Korea and the U.S. agreed to share investigation data on Terra.
And this is like less than a day ago.
Yeah, this is like 17 hours ago this was posted. Mm-hmm. The two nations have agreed to share their investigation data on ongoing crypto-related cases, including Terra. And then the image shows a bunch of kids with like magnifying glasses and like money and like a cryptocurrency image. South Korea Justice Minister Han Dong-hoon was in New York recently discussing various ways in which the two nations can cooperate and investigate associations associated with financial crimes, especially crypto-related crimes. Hoon met with the Security and Committee's Task Force co-chief Andrea M. Griswold at the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, along with Scott Hartman, Chief of Security and Commodities Fraud Task Force of the same office. Tuesday reported local news publications. The two sides discussed ways to exchange information and strengthen cooperations to ensure timely actions and increasing numbers of securities frauds associated with the digital asset market. Reported the publication. Two sides have reportedly agreed to share their last investigation data around Terra, a crypto project under investigation in both countries. Yeah, they got the rug pulled. That's what happens.
So
and
whatever,
they're mad about it.
We understand. Obviously, it's an important thing for people to look at and come together.
40 billion Terra ecosystem crash has attracted legality scrutiny from both countries. The U.S. has recently opened a new investigation against Terra co-founder Do Kwon, while in South Korea, prosecutors are looking for several charges, including fraud, marketing, manipulation, and tax evasion. Ooh. The cooperation between the two nations could be the first of many crypto-related crimes become the focus of related in recent times. South Korea has emerged as one of the most strict nations when it comes to crypto regulations, ensuring strict know your customer (KYC), anti-money laundering (AML) guidelines.
Right.
Yeah. So they just teamed up, man. Dual threat. See what they do. See what happens. They might just do something.
I think that North Korea's government believed in Terra so much that they had
it was going to be the nation's. It was the nation's mascot for crypto.
Gosh, I can't remember. It was 80,000 coins or something ridiculous. It was a lot. It was millions of dollars, right? So they were not happy.
In the reservoir, in a reserve.
Yeah, the government bought it. Yeah, so they're pissed too, which I would be.
Yeah, I mean, you don't mess with no government.
Yeah, money, man. That's why I go back to that episode that I was like, okay, maybe he did it. Are you just stupid? You're gonna get away with what? And maybe he's gonna go hide with Snowden in Russia for the rest of his life. Yeah. Cool. That sounds like a nice life, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think they were before all this happened, gonna make a Singapore office and all this. It was I don't know. It doesn't all add up. But then again, I heard one of the employees stole a little bit of it too. So maybe not that much, not billions of dollars, but a little bit. So. I don't know. It just seems dumb. Don't attack a government. Don't make them pissed at you. Your life's going to be bad.
Yeah.
You're going to be in that gulag that doesn't have a name, so we can't even say it.
There you go. Just be walking around with broken toilets and water dripping from weird locations. If that's even water.
Weird locations. Yeah. We hope it's water. Yeah. So,
yeah, it's crazy. Don't. More of the story is, don't mess with government's money, man.
Yeah.
You can mess with our money, but but what happens when you mess with the government's money? Well, that's if you're another country, that'd be war. You bring war upon yourself, but because it's just a couple guys, they're hunting them down now. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they do come to the bottom of this, and then we find out that they did do it, and that they're idiots.
Yeah.
And then we can just be well, that's what happens when you think you're gonna freaking rug pull cryptocurrency that nations hold.
Yeah, it just makes you wonder. But regardless, I think it's good to see stuff like this happening on something that serious. because that's what you want. You want some truth to come to light. But yeah, between hedge funds using leverage and then get away with that silly leverage, and then Terra Luna doing that, trying to steal, I don't know what these people are doing. It's like I feel like a genius all of a sudden. I was like, what is wrong with these people? So, and I think that's going to be the end of this episode, and we're going to continue on some other news right after this.